The Zathori Imperial Palace floated in the void between stars, a crystalline monument to 10,000 years of galactic dominance. Its corridors hummed with the quiet efficiency of 100 species, all serving the empire that had united the galaxy under one banner. Ambassador Khaleesi walked those halls with practiced grace, her human frame seeming fragile among the towering Zathori and armored Krell diplomats. She had been on the palace for 3 months now, representing Earth's interests in trade negotiations. The galaxy had discovered humanity only 5 years prior, and most species still considered them curiosities, soft-skinned creatures from a backwater world, notable only for their peculiar emotional volatility and short lifespans. Tonight, everything would change. The emergency began at 2,300 hours station time. Khaleesi was reviewing trade documents in her quarters when the lights flickered red, and the station's melodious AI voice announced in Universal, "Catastrophic containment breach in Sector 7. Toxic methane leak detected. All personnel evacuate to safe zones immediately." Khaleesi's tablet showed the schematic. Sector 7 housed the palace's xenobiology labs and the quarters of the Methian delegation. Methians breathe methane. For oxygen breathers like most of the palace's inhabitants, the gas was deadly. She ran toward the evacuation points, joining streams of aliens moving through the corridors. That's when she heard a sound that made her human heart clench. A child crying. Through a viewport, she saw them, 3 Zathori younglings, no more than adolescents by their size, trapped in a sealed observation dome in Sector 7. The dome was designed for viewing the stars, but now it was filling with the hazy yellow-green of methane gas, seeping through the ventilation system. The children pressed against the transparent walls, their crystalline bodies already showing stress fractures from the toxic atmosphere. Khaleesi grabbed a passing Krell officer. "Those children, we have to get them out." The officer's compound eyes swiveled to assess the situation. "Impossible. Sector 7 is fully contaminated. No rescue team can reach them in time. The methane concentration will crush their molecular structure within minutes. There has to be something. Ambassador, evacuate. This is tragic, but calculated loss is preferable to additional casualties." The Krell moved on, ushering others toward safety. Khaleesi stood frozen, watching the children. The eldest was trying to comfort the younger two, all 3 fading as the gas grew thicker. Around her, aliens of a dozen species hurried past, some glancing at the dome with what might have been regret, but none stopping. This was logic. This was rational. This was survival. This was unacceptable. Khaleesi sprinted against the flow of evacuees, toward the emergency supply station. Her fingers flew over the interface there, an atmospheric suit rated for toxic environments. She pulled it on, checking the oxygen supply. 12 minutes, maybe 15 if she controlled her breathing. "Ambassador Khaleesi, you are proceeding in a restricted direction," the AI warned. "Override." She gasped, sealing the helmet. "Diplomatic emergency authorization." "There is no diplomatic protocol for..." She stopped listening and ran. The doors to Sector 7 were sealed, but maintenance shafts ran parallel to every major corridor. Khaleesi found an access panel and squeezed inside, her human flexibility allowing her to navigate the tight spaces that would have trapped the larger species. The suit's external temperature gauge climbed as she crawled through passages, never meant for this kind of transit. She emerged in Sector 7, and the world turned yellow-green. Through her helmet, she could see the methane swirling like an alien ocean. The observation dome was 50 meters away across an open gallery. Khaleesi ran, her lungs burned even though she was breathing suit oxygen, her brain screaming that she was in danger, that she should flee, every instinct demanding retreat. But humans had spent millennia overriding instinct with choice. Her legs pumped harder. She reached the dome's emergency hatch and pulled the manual release. It didn't budge. The pressure differential had sealed it tight. Khaleesi braced her feet and pulled with everything she had, feeling muscles strain. The galaxy thought humans were weak, their light gravity producing inferior physics. The galaxy had never seen a human mother lift a vehicle off her child, had never witnessed a human soldier carry a wounded comrade for miles, had never understood that human strength wasn't in their muscles, but in their refusal to accept the impossible. The hatch groaned, moved, opened. Khaleesi grabbed the nearest youngling and pushed them toward the exit. Go, run. She didn't know if they understood English, but movement was universal. The child stumbled out, and she grabbed the second. The eldest Zathori stared at her with crystalline eyes that reflected her helmeted face. You came. The child said in broken universal. No one comes. I'm human, Khaleesi said, as if that explained everything. Perhaps it did. Now move. She pushed all three through the hatch and followed, pursuit alarms shrieking about oxygen levels. 7 minutes remaining. The younglings moved slowly, their bodies damaged by the methane exposure. Khaleesi picked up the smallest lighter than a human child, but awkward in her arms, and ran. Behind her, something exploded. The methane had reached an ignition source. Fire bloomed in an atmosphere that shouldn't support it, and the shockwave threw her forward. She tucked her body around the Zathori child and hit the floor hard, sliding toward the maintenance shaft for minutes of oxygen. She shoved the children into the shaft first, following behind, pulling them when they faltered. The eldest helped the younger two while Khaleesi pushed from behind, her oxygen gauge dropping into red. To minutes. They emerged on the safe side of the sealed doors just as her oxygen alarm began its final countdown. Khaleesi tore off her helmet and gasped the recycled air of the palace, sweeter than anything she'd ever tasted. The 3 Zathori younglings collapsed beside her, their bodies already beginning to repair themselves in the clean atmosphere. Medical teams swarmed them within seconds. As Khaleesi was lifted onto a stretcher, she saw the faces surrounding her: Zathori, Krell, Methian, Vorlax, dozens of species she still couldn't name, all of them staring at her with something that looked like shock. 3 days later, Khaleesi sat in the Grand Council chamber. Her ribs were wrapped from the impact, and her lungs still ached, but she was alive. So were the 3 Zathori younglings, their recovery documented as miraculous. The Emperor himself stood before the assembled delegates, a being of living crystal, who had ruled for 3 human lifetimes. When he spoke, his voice resonated through the chamber like a struck bell. For 10,000 years, the Zathori have led this galaxy through logic and calculation. We have built an empire on rational decision-making and acceptable losses. He turned his faceted gaze to Khaleesi. Last night, we learned that logic is not the only path to civilization. Ambassador, you acted without calculation, without regard for acceptable losses. You risked your life for children not of your species, for no strategic gain. With respect, Your Majesty, Khaleesi said quietly, I couldn't do anything else. They were children. A sound rippled through the chamber, the Zathori equivalent of laughter. Crystalline and strange. The Emperor's body pulsed with light. Couldn't, not wouldn't. That is the difference, isn't it? We choose logic because it is superior. You choose compassion because you cannot choose otherwise. He gestured, and a hologram appeared above the chamber earth, blue and green and impossibly vibrant. We thought humans were weak, emotional, impractical. We see now that what we called weakness is a different kind of strength. The strength to run toward danger when logic demands retreat. The strength to see a child and refuse to calculate acceptable losses. The Emperor's next words would be recorded in every databank across the galaxy. Perhaps it is time the Zathori learned what it means to be unable to abandon the helpless. Perhaps it is time we all learned what it means to be human. Khaleesi looked at the faces around her, alien, strange, beautiful in their diversity, and saw understanding dawn. Humanity had entered the galactic stage not with superior weapons or faster ships, but with something the galaxy had forgotten in its ancient logic: the simple, irrational, absolutely essential refusal to let children die alone in the dark. That night, the palace realized humans were different, and the galaxy would never be the same.